that in mind too if you haven't really had much experience yet. These employability skills will take you a long way. And often these kind of employability skills, like adaptability and resilience, for example, if English is an additional language for you, you're already showing a lot of resilience and skills there. So it's actually a real strength to have that diverse experience. And, in particular, if you have lived in another country as well, that's actually really interesting to a lot of employers because it shows how adaptable you are, flexible you are, but also how motivated you are because, not everybody just picks up and goes to a different country. So you have to have a lot of resilience for that. So things like that, definitely highlight on your applications and think about how you have developed these skills. So don't just list the skills on your resume, actually think about how you've developed them and, what kind of examples you can provide to the employers to show, yes, I do have people skills because of, this, this, and this. And even if you have some experience in your home country, if you're from a different country, definitely highlight those as well, because that's definitely how you would have also developed, those kind of skills here. So this is sort of just a bit of a page just to, if you're not sure of sort of what to start with, start thinking about, how you might have developed some of these as a bit of a starting point as well. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of a scenario now. This is actually a very common scenario that I speak to students about. So if you have submitted a resume for a job, so in this example, a cafe, and you do want to find out, what's happening with that application, basically, it is okay to call. Sorry, not to fall. You might fall, but hopefully not. It is okay to call. Okay, so you might feel a bit nervous, if English is your second language, or perhaps you're a person that, generally just feels a bit nervous about calling places. And the good news is that, it's better to do that because, again, you're showing that you're proactively following up and you're actually, again, using your initiative and showing how motivated you are to the employer. So you can definitely follow up applications and employers aren't going to find you annoying or anything. And, thinking back to when I worked in recruitment, I actually really liked when people called because it made my job a lot easier, actually, because you get so many applications and you're just looking at applications all the time and you sort of, as a recruiter, you get a bit bored with that. But if somebody calls you and introduces themselves and sounds really motivated and excited about the opportunity, you actually go, oh, this is nice. Okay, I actually like talking to this person. I'm going to invite them to an interview. And then all of a sudden you go straight to the pile of, okay, let's book this person in. That's a lot easier than going through 100 of resumes when you sort of don't really have an idea of who they are without talking to them. So this is what you can do. So perhaps, you can say what your name is. You say that you dropped off a resume. You just wanted to check, if they've had a chance to review it, if there's any updates. Again, reiterate your keenness to join. It's really important. So in this example, you've actually handed in physically the resume, which is actually a really, really good tactic to start with, because in particular for these kind of roles, you might see a sign on the window of a cafe. That is your invitation to go in and talk to them. That's what they want you to do, because in a cafe role, you're going to have to be able to talk to people. So these are the kind of the skills that you need to show that you have. So it's okay to apply online too, but you also still need to do a follow-up call to introduce yourself as well. So I like to sort of think of it as a two-step approach. So always do two-step. Don't ever just apply and wait and hope for the best. You've always got to follow up. Or you've got to call first, ask some questions, and then say, oh, great, I'm going to apply for the role, and then apply. So it's always the two steps. So decide which way you want to do your two steps, and then trial it for a bit and see if that helps you at all to get some interviews. And I think you'll find that it will, if you can find the number of the person to talk to, which is sometimes half the battle. But definitely do a bit of digging into that and do your research before you call as well. So you sort of know what to say if they say, oh, tell me a bit about yourself. Make sure that you're also prepared to answer some questions, because they're going to come back to you if you are calling. And we can always help with that process and, practice in careers appointments as well.